everybody. Welcome back to Hey Betch with Danny and Memo. This is our third episode. We survived. This is the weekly podcast where we talk about everything from sex,
relationships,
body positivity,
sometimes politics,
current events,
and pop culture.
Yes, we do.
We do. Hunting.
And we have our first guest ever on
probably
Hey
our
Bitch.
Last. Let's be real.
Probably our last. This is going to be our last show. Thank you for listening. It's a mini series.
When we don't rise.
Right. Well, of course, you know Memo. I'm Danny, and we would like to present to you our very, very close besties.
Absolutely.
The reason why Geminis have a bad name, Eduardo.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, girl. And the bubbly and effervescent, always medicated, never dedicated, Tyler.
Hey, Betch. Well, welcome, girls. How was your week?
It's been pretty good. You know, I got vaccinated. So
Yes.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Fully.
I'm also mildly excited to be here. I saw this event on Facebook, so I figured I would.
Mildly,
Check it out.
were we mildly amusing?
Yeah, mildly amusing podcast.
Well, you're here, so it's not going to get any better.
We'll see.
And you, Mama?
I'm good. Back from Maui. I'm a little sunburnt.
She's a little sunburned. Your back is a different race, honey.
Freshly vaccinated. But speaking of my back, I did hurt my back today. I've been trying to do that TikTok dance where they're like popping it out.
Mr. Longback over there.
You broke that back?
Just
Like, I
popping
got
it
room
out,
to talk.
looking like a coffee table. You know.
Yeah,
Doing
you
what I
suffer
can.
so much going to Hawaii for what? 6 days?
What was her?
Oh,
What
hell
was
no.
her? What was her? What
It was
you?
beautiful, though. I'm glad to be back, though. I miss my friends.
Thank you for sharing those pictures. Those were amazing, by the way. And that
Very
video.
jealous. Very jealous.
Very
Yeah, so anyways.
Huh?
What?
Obsessed.
She's obsessed. She's obsessed with a vacation. All right. Well, let's talk about current events. What's going on? I know that I think it just came out yesterday or today about the ex-bachelor, Colton Underwood, has come out, even though he competed in the straight bachelor,
right?
Right. There hasn't been a gay bachelor.
Wasn't he the one that was the virgin on the show?
I don't know.
Like,
Was he the virgin?
That was his big thing. He was like 20. He's like 26.
Surprise
25.
there, right?
But he was a virgin, and so like that was like the whole big thing about it. Like it wasn't for like according to him, it wasn't for like religious reasons by any means, but it was more of like it was him being him, and he wanted to wait.
Right.
Something like that.
Something like that, right?
You know.
I mean, we all had that moment when we were younger. We're like,
I still am a virgin.
In your ear.
Well, with women.
Oh, okay. Oh, you are a platinum
star gay.
Platinum
Sweetie,
star
remember.
gay. If
Platinum.
our viewers don't know, a platinum star gay is a homosexual who has never had any contact with a vagina because they were C-section.
Not even at birth.
So they never had
According
contact
to my mom,
through birth.
when she went into labor, I went spread eagle, and I was like, I'm not going through that.
You're
Like,
not.
I was holding on for dear life.
No, she wrote. Memo was here inside her uterus.
She sure did. I was the last one. Like, this bitch, done.
God.
She's done.
She's done.
She's done.
So, and he's never been with a girl, which again, if you were a gold star gay, you had never been with a girl.
Right.
But if you were born
through
through a vagina, then you were only gold.
Right.
You are platinum, honey.
Platinum, baby.
Platinum.
All the way.
Never wanted to see
Not to
one
be
or
confused
want
with the
touch one.
Latinas.
With what?
With a platinum bitch. Like,
Platinum.
You know what
Right. How about you guys? Are you gold, platinum,
I
bronze?
would probably say bronze.
She bronze.
Yeah,
She touched it once
maybe
or
like
twice.
a sterling silver, maybe. Dabbled a bit here and there. And
Just a little dabble.
She's that silver you
Different
buy in the
genders.
kiosk.
And you don't get any medal because you've been all up in it, huh?
Yes.
Have you really, Tyler?
Yeah.
Have we had this conversation?
Yeah.
Was I at?
Yeah.
Well, this news kind of a little shocked, but not surprised.
I mean, it was bound to happen at some point. Like, to me, I have a different take on everybody else's take on this. Like, to me, this was, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of planned, but
Immediate.
Your conspiracy theorist
sure.
in you is talking to your head.
it's weird. I'm usually not a conspiracy theorist, but like
Right.
for some reason, there's something.
Do you think they're setting up like a bachelor?
A gay
that's-
bachelor.
a gay bachelor?
I think ABC. It's ABC. Right?
ABC, yeah.
I think ABC would be dumb not to, because right now this is headline. Right now this
Right.
is, you know what I mean. Everybody's talking about Underwood, who came out,
Yeah.
Colton, and they'd be dumb not to. And then like right now, like we're in that time of society, like in the U.S. right now, where gay movement is big. Obviously, with other ones, of course, BLM, not to discredit or play them down, but I think there's a shift, and as part of that shift is gay culture. I mean, look at Drag Race. Drag Race went pop culture, went mainstream.
It's winning Emmys.
It's winning Emmys. Seriously, like you got Raven winning an Emmy. Like seriously for makeup.
For makeup, yeah.
I couldn't stand the hoe then, much less now. Like, but sorry, girl.
Why you mad? She mad.
She mad. We'll talk about being mad later. We got something. But I don't know. Like for me, it's I think there's more to it.
All right, I could see that.
My take.
I mean, they're always trying a new thing. Like, what's going to get the ratings?
Right.
And, they've been going on for, 17, 18? I don't even know how many seasons Bachelor is at right now. They're getting redundant. They're causing all these scandals to get attention again. I think a gay Bachelor is the thing to get it for them. But my question is, this reminded me of, like, when I was in the closet dating women, having girlfriends. And my question that I'm posing is, do you think that men who date women to hide themselves, are they being greedy? Are they being selfish?
I think in hindsight, probably, but not while it's actually happening. When it's happening, you're more preoccupied with worrying about, what's going on with me? How am I being perceived? You're not really thinking about the other person. You're looking to protect your own interest, your own image. But I think in hindsight, you could see that you were being selfish. You were probably taking time away from someone, and that's what you can't get back is time.
Yeah, I completely agree. In hindsight, when you are more yourself, you've gone through it. You go back and think, she probably really liked me, and I liked her, but I was never gonna meet those feelings, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, as a teenager, when I was still a teenager, that's when I was still in. I mean, right now teenagers are coming out at 13, right?
Yeah.
Or younger,
Or even younger, right? They know when they're kids.
Transitioning, maybe not full on surgical, but transitioning just lifestyle, like, clothing and everyday life at younger ages. Like, you got 6, 7-year-olds already making that transition. So, like, it's hugely young.
Yeah. So I was like, thank you to all the beards out there for
we love you,
loving
and we're
your
sorry.
gay that you thought was straight. We didn't do it on purpose. We're not doing it to hurt you. It's just you were a temporary solution to a much bigger stress in our lives.
You provided a lot more than just companionship or cover. Let's go with that.
I'll offer a counterpoint, because I think there are instances in which you've got somebody that is trying to find themselves.
Absolutely.
And not necessarily prepared to go on that gay journey yet. They're not sure that they're there. They don't know that they're going down that path. They don't know that it's for them. And so I don't know that it's so much a beard situation rather than them really trying to, find who they are, but also that they might need to, they're not ever going to make that move into the gay lifestyle. I think there are those people, there are those places in the world where that can't
not an
be.
option.
Yeah, and so, they are falling in love. They are, making it work. They are, and maybe 50 years from now. I mean, I have a gay grandfather, and that man took through to his adulthood, to his senior life. He had wives, and it wasn't until, long after his second marriage that he still hasn't come out, and so I don't know that it's a beard situation. I think there's sometimes where you're living the life that you have to live. You want to build a family. That's the way that you do it. I think, what you're talking about with this younger generation, I think it is a bit more fluid.
Absolutely.
And I think I think you have, the binary has been broken and it's not required. And I love seeing that. I love seeing kids be able to, humans be who they want to be and identify how they want to identify. So I think I don't know that I don't want women to walk away feeling like the beard, in every situation. I think there are, women who have become mothers and women who were wives and partners, in all of these scenarios who there was true love there and it was
absolutely
good and healthy, and that was their period in life.
Yeah, I've seen so many stories about women who get married and 20 years and 6 kids later, the man comes out as gay or the woman comes out as lesbian, and they remain either together or they remain really good close
Best
friends and
where
parents.
the partner is very supportive and is like a
really understanding.
detrimental to that transition
Yeah.
for that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's yeah, absolutely. And I get where you're coming from. I think that I mean, coming from it from a Latino aspect, it's, you know, you're raised thinking that you have to fill a certain gender role, or you have to fill a certain lifestyle or a certain model. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to grow up, you're going to be 18, you're going to get married, and by the age of 20, you're going to have 7.2 children. So it's very that, like, we're raised, at least I speak on a little bit more like on my experience. Like, not necessarily my mom pushed me to that. No, y'all know Olga. She ain't like that. She knew. Pero I think that
For sure.
The doctor knew.
okay. Can't stand y'all. But I think that, like, for the Latino culture, and you two can attest to that, there's always that expectation set.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of like, you're gonna grow up, you're gonna be a construction worker, or you're gonna do this, that, or the third, and you're gonna have your wife and kids. So, like, I think, like, for me, like, when I dated in high school, it was more of a trying to be normal. Trying to be that,
Right.
like you said, you know what I mean? Trying to fill that, figuring yourself out.
Or giving it a good go. I
Yeah,
think that was
I can
my
say,
experience.
Hey, I tried
Let's
it.
give it a good
Tried
go.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I know in that times you're confused. Everyone's like, what are these feelings? And if it's not even an option for you, which is I think it's a privilege for a lot of us. It's a privilege to be able to even consider
Absolutely.
having or living a gay lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Or being free, being yourself. Because I know in other countries there's not even an option. You can't even have an option to do that. So I feel like it is important for us to consider that everybody's journey is different. Everybody's going to look at it differently.
Absolutely.
Acceptance comes in different forms, especially self-acceptance. Because a lot of people come out late. I mean, I came out when I was 19 to myself. And
30 years ago.
shut up. How dare you? You're older than me.
I'm going to be 30 in 2 years.
No, he's going to be 40. Yeah, so it's everybody's journey is different. Everybody's story is different. I'm sure everybody's stories here is different. So
Yeah.
did you guys ever have a beard or did you feel that you had to, or did you feel that let me give it a good go. Let me try it and see if maybe my feelings I'm confused.
Right. I think for me, I gave it a couple goes. So I had a couple beards, maybe a little mustache.
A little side of
She has some
Yeah,
sideburns.
a little
sideburns.
goatee.
Yeah. So I think for me, it was more not so much finding myself. I think in the back of my mind, I always knew. I think my biggest issue was I had a lot of pressure from family. I had a lot of pressure in school, performing very well academically and being perceived a certain way. So I wanted to fit into that persona that
Mold.
would not be bullied, I guess. That was my mentality back
Yeah.
then. And I thought that by me being who I really was would stop me from having all of those things. So I did have a few beards, and even after high school, I feel like I started exploring a little bit more my real side, because I said, going off to college, becoming a professional at the same time, and I'm growing into this new group of friends, and I want to see what it's all about. And as soon as I met people within the gay community, I kind of felt like I was home, and then I met you all as well.
College is like the place where you go and become gay.
Bro.
Yeah, pretty much.
You were young when we met.
I was really young. I was 19 years
when I
old.
met your ass.
Why? I met you at a
30 years
bar.
ago.
30 years
Yeah,
ago.
I met you at a bar, sir.
Met me at a bar.
That's true.
I had my little ID.
Whose ID is the question?
Yeah, exactly. I still don't know whose it was, but I felt like I was home, and it felt very natural to me, and it felt like this is who I want to be, and I'm going to take all the steps leading up to where I no longer have to suppress this side of me.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, as the elder millennial at the table, I think mine's been a little.
Way
I kind of
elder.
think that
She's ancient.
30 years older. I think of
You
my
look it.
journey as I look back a little bit differently. I think there was a period of time that I could identify as being straight. And no question. You know, I was soft. I was maybe a little sensitive. Maybe I like to wear my mom's heels, but
There
I really
might be a question.
I didn't really identify. I didn't really identify as gay, nor did I have the desire to. I didn't question it. It just wasn't. It wasn't like in my vernacular at that point. And then as I got into school, and I moved to Phoenix back in 2000, and you know, I was introduced to the LGBT community because I came from North Idaho. So I think, you know, I had never really been exposed to it. So, you know, I had grown up in the Pacific Northwest, and, you know, we lived in a small town in Idaho. And then when I moved to Phoenix, suddenly I was in like this metropolitan area. I had, you know, met some friends in school. I had met, you know, some friends in this job. And then I started working with this gentleman who was gay, and he was like the first gay person I had ever, like, self-identified gay person that I worked with, and he's like, sis, mama, and I was like, no.
You look at you, you're like, are you?
I was like, are you? No. I was like, no, not me. Like, it's not.
That's not me, bro. That's not me, bro.
That's
well,
not
and
me.
not like hiding it. Yeah. I was like, no. But it wasn't
like
so much a denial as a, you know, maybe it's something, you know, maybe it's something, maybe it's a little more fluid, maybe it's something I'll explore.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, I'm not to that point where I'm like having a desire to be intimate with another man or anything like that. But it kind of then evolved, and I built a community of gay friends and became involved in the gay community. And then all of a sudden I started having gay sex, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'm here. I can't say that it's been a journey. You know, there's parts that I have really enjoyed, and then there's parts that I have not enjoyed about that journey, because it is hard emotionally, and it's hard, and then I kind of think to myself, is this the life that I do want for myself? You know, like, where do I want to be that's going to feel good for the long term, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of that. And so as I approach 40, I think of myself being a lot more fluid in kind of my sexuality, in my, you know, kind of how I show up, you know, my persona. You know, sometimes it's a little more masculine, sometimes it's a little more feminine. I don't think that I identify in the non-binary.
Where was that masculine side?
It's here.
Where's it?
I haven't met that one.
It's right here.
Where's she at? Where's she at, though?
He plays kickball.
Okay.
And I don't know
I've
if you
seen
know,
you
he's a
run.
really good...
I saw you Sunday, sweetie.
In any case, I didn't know. I didn't see judgmental on the check-in, on the lead-in sheet.
All good fun. All good fun.
But, you know, masculine adjacent. But, you know, I think of myself in a more fluid space where I am attracted to women, and I could be intimate with a woman. I am attracted to men. I could be attracted to, you know, be physical with men. I'm attracted to, you know, non-binary people, and, you know, the relationships that I could build with them. So I think that's kind of, it's been an evolution, you know, and I'm good with that, and I enjoy it.
Well, the reason I brought out that theme is because I find it really interesting that they would make this whole big deal about it.
Yeah.
And Lil Nas X had to do all that work, all that video, all the talk, all the Twitter talk, all the condemnation to kind of be himself. And he just kind of just gets a little show. Because I heard he's getting a Netflix show with Gus Kenworthy being his little gay fairy mentor. So it just kind of irks
like
me a little bit.
With open arms,
He was welcome with open
you know?
arms, and I don't know why it is.
You don't?
The caucasity of it all.
The
Yes.
caucasity of it all.
It just really striking me that.
That's why, like, when you and I had this conversation last week, when we talked about what is it that's bothering people, because remember we talked about Lady Gaga in the whole Judas video. It was Jesus Christ, you know, iconography throughout the whole thing, from the crown of thorns, everything, right? And then Lil Nas X does this, and so I'm like, what's really bothering people? Is it really the gay thing, or is it the fact that it's a black man who's doing it, who's throwing it back in your face? You know what I'm saying? So I get where you're coming from, how it irks you. Like you said, it's the caucasity of it all, right?
I think I read a couple of comments on, you know, just this entire scandal, and one that stood out to me was, you know, you spend your whole lives telling this gay black kid that he's going to go to hell. So when he actually goes there, you get mad
You're
too.
like,
so
Yeah,
You get mad.
I saw that one. I buried that.
He tweeted that out.
Yeah, he
was
did.
like, yeah, and I was like,
yeah,
Yes,
very that,
absolutely.
very that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, it's every bit of that.
So, will I watch the show? Probably just to see what a mess it is.
I'm gonna go with no.
No, you're not gonna
Like,
watch
here's
it.
the thing.
I'll watch it and tell you guys.
Like, here's the thing. I may think what I think about why this is happening now, right? Like it's bigger than what I think it is, right? Or I think it's bigger than what it is. And I'm not gonna take away. Congratulations to you, Colton. For you to be able to finally be your identical self, and for you to be able to be the truest you've ever been in your entire life. I congratulations to you. I'm not going to take that moment away from you.
Yeah.
I just think
There's going to be enough people out there who are going to not watch. So I shouldn't be.
Absolutely. Like, here's
part
the
of
thing,
that.
Like, if I watch, if I don't watch, I don't know.
My hope is he uses his platform.
And that's what I was getting at. I just
Effectively.
hope,
Let's not Caitlyn Jenner this.
girl. I just hope, like you said, he uses this power. He uses this to the best ability possible. Like, don't just do it for your 15 minutes of fame. Do this
something
to
with it.
make this a moment of representation for those other people who haven't been able to be out yet, because like you said earlier, like because it's not allowed where they're from, or even here, look at how many people have to still face the religious persecution within our same community, within our same country, because you've got organizations like the Westboro Baptist Church. You know what I mean? Like I just hope, like you said, he uses this correctly as a platform.
And I think on that topic, I think Lil Nas X is using his platform
Absolutely.
properly.
Right.
He has said, I mean, he really is saying, fuck you
Fuck
to
it.
the
Absolutely.
standard. And he's saying, I'm not going to take it anymore. I am going to show up. I'm going to show out. And I'm going to be proud of who I am. And I'm going to bring all of these people along on this journey. And he does have a great following on Twitter, on
His
on
clapbacks are
Snapchat.
epic.
Oh, his clapbacks are
And every step of the way, I'll be
Everything.
sure to applaud him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's
He's
really
defending
doing
himself.
The damn thing.
Yeah.
Like, he really is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't like, we've had other people who have done things their own way within the community, and he's literally saying, "Move out, bitches, because I'm coming through."
Because there's always
And
been
we
that
will
like
make it crack.
feeling of like, well, let's ease people in. Let's do it slowly. Let's dip our
We're
toes
done
in.
easing people into this. We've been fighting this since 1969. The time it's done. You've had enough time to acclimate. You've had enough time to get used to it. We're here with queer. Don't fuck with us.
And that I think has to do with generations. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm sure the more older gays are gonna be like, we did the fight. We fought for this.
And they did.
But a lot of older gays are like, why are they showing off? Why are they being so, flamboyant? Why are they throwing it in our face when they couldn't do it when they were coming up.
I think that's always been the evolution.
Yeah,
It's always
because I'm still kind
generation over generation.
I'm still
it's
kind of
different.
like, ooh, when something's like super gay, and that's just my opinion.
Right.
But I'm sure the next generation is going to be like, oh, that's normal. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
Which is great.
I'm of the older generation, and Lil Nas X has me full spread eagle on my sofa learning how to twerk. So I'm.
Are you going to
I'm
install?
doing it.
Are you going to
Learning how
install
to
a stripper
coffee
pole?
I'm doing it.
Learning how to coffee table?
I'm
I
doing
love
it.
that.
That poor coffee
Yeah.
table.
Whatever.
Well, yeah. Thank you so much for that. I just thought it was really interesting. That we'll see if we're going to watch that. But again, he needs to do something with the platform.
Absolutely.
So today's topic, because this is the friend group, I thought it was interesting that we can maybe talk about friendship, right? We could talk about the types of friendships. I know that Eduardo has a really good understanding of his friend circuit, his friend, how he has his friend categorized a little bit.
A squad, B squad.
No,
Oh.
I wasn't gonna say that,
I'm kidding.
but
He's got all four of them categorized.
she got him categorized, she got him ranked,
She got a spreadsheet.
she got a spreadsheet.
It's a whole
And if we-
leaderboard.
And if you piss her off, doot, 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 doot.
And it's an ongoing spreadsheet because every encounter is then graded.
It's graded
Today, hanging out with Memo was a 5. On a
5.
scale of 1 to 27.
For sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you've gotten to that kind of being able to look at people and say, this is someone close to me, or how did that journey come out to be when you started gaining your friends?
Well, just to clarify, I mean, it sounds very programmed the way you do it, just very analytical in terms of categorizing friends, but I'll add a little bit of light to that. I think it's just been a journey, right? Into how I saw friends from high school, post high school, college, and then going into my adulthood. I always thought friends were the ones who went out with you all the time, who got shit-faced with you all the time. And, that to me, that was the idea of friends. So I think from our own experiences, we can also, empathize with the fact that when I first came into this group was about 30 to 40 people. And to me, it was like, wow, we're all friends. Well, were we?
She was living in the dream.
We were living the dream, and I thought everybody was my friend. And I quickly realized, through hardship, adversity, I started noticing that there was a group of people who were there during my good times, but then there was a different group of people who were there during my bad times.
Yeah.
So for me, that was very eye-opening, just that entire journey. And then I feel like, you start off with a group of 40 people, and then it starts dwindling down to 25, down to 15, and then down to 6, who you would actually consider your true friends, but not to discount anybody else that that plays a role in your life, because I think you have your groups of friends that you can confide in openly without judgment. Absolutely. And then you also have your friends that you're also close to, they're close friends, that you can share things with, but there's also a hint of reservation. They're not the first people that you would call when you're stuck.
I'm stuck somewhere.
Can
you come and get me?
Something's happening to me and I need to hear your voice. I need to, find comfort in your advice. So, I have my friends for advice. I have my friends for shit talking. I have my friends for getting hammered.
Vacation friends.
And then I have my work friends. And, there's so many different classifications where in my mind I kind of put people into these buckets subconsciously.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just my spiel, just very high level on friends. It obviously goes much deeper than that, but that's just kind of how I've learned to compartmentalize friends. And, again, just to recap is your circle gets much smaller as you grow older. Oh. So that's the main
Ain't
point.
that the truth? So you must have like 2 friends.
Well, according to Facebook, I have 1,578 friends.
Of your closest friends.
Of my
love them
closest
all.
friends. I know, I love and know them all.
Well, according to the graffiti in the bathroom, that's another service she provides.
Yeah, I love that because we do like when I came out, it was that let's party. I partied every day.
I'm still tired.
You're still tired. I haven't seen you in like a month.
Seriously.
Just because we would go out every day. There was a special, and every day of the week, and we would just go out. And I was living it. I was like, these are my best friends. They're gonna be in my life forever.
Yep.
And it just didn't work out that way because I grew. I began to see. I began to open my eyes. I began to see who they really were and what they really were to me. So they did kind of fall off into those other acquaintances where I see them and I say hi, but it was never the same.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to add a point to that too, because, I just want to make sure that it doesn't get misconstrued in the sense that, these people did something wrong to me.
Right.
I think for me, it was just more a misalignment of, just goals, personality traits, and those are just things that didn't line up outside of the bars.
We're just growing at different rates, and if you're not growing with me, then obviously we're going to be going apart, right? We're on 2 different roads.
Exactly, and I just think because of that, people just drifted apart, and I think what's sad to me, I think looking back at it now, like we probably didn't remain close, we probably don't connect, but if I see you out, I'll say hello. And I think what I see that's very common just within this local community is knowing that that person, but still not acknowledging their presence. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that to me is sad. And I always try to go out of my way, like to know, we haven't talked in years. Like, you passed by me a couple of times and didn't say anything, but I'm still going to come by and say hello.
That's because you're petty.
Because you have the records. You have
records. I have manners.
I feel like your notepad and your notes in your phone is full of people like on December 24th, 2019.
Like, who didn't wish me happy birthday last year?
I think it's the way we talk about like that group, right? So I remember before this group, like I used to have like my group of friends, but that consisted of a lot of straight friends, and I always wanted a group of gay friends, like my boys or my girls, right?
You had your groups.
I had my groups. So I think when I came into this group, I was so super excited that I finally have that. You know what I mean? Like I finally have that group of friends that I can party with, hang out with, and then, like you said, I think you outgrow certain people, and I'm not saying you outgrow them and like you leave them behind. You just grow in different directions.
Right.
Right.
We're not
And at
better than
different
anybody. It's just
speeds. And like,
we have different values. We have different priorities that just kind
Absolutely.
of pull us apart.
Absolutely, and like I think that like, and I always I made a point to say that I met you at such a young age because even at such a young age you were impactful. Does that make sense? Like I remember some of our conversations late night.
Right.
And I remember that, and I remember like when we even like our first time we connected, we talked about this already. I couldn't stand your ass, but then like when we reconnected a few years later, it was on a different wavelength. So, like the timing was.
We were just different people.
Absolutely, and like you came in later into the group, and like I knew like from the very first moment, like we connected, we were great. You're one of my favorite people. You know, I'm trying to use your caucasity.
The privilege.
Use it while you got it.
Right? No, but it's just like I think like to kind of piggyback on what you said, it's very people like you come in at specific times in one's life and you lose people at specific times in your life because those people came in like you had talked about earlier. The whole is it a reason, a season, or a lifetime?
Right.
You know what I mean? So some of those people had their reasons, some of those people had their seasons, and hopefully this isn't for a lifetime.
I mean, let's not.
I'm just kidding.
Let's not be.
I'm just kidding.
Let's not be like negative about these people. Because we learned something from these people, right? There should never be the reason, right?
Yeah,
the reason
absolutely.
is you were there to teach me this.
Absolutely.
And
And like
it was positive or negative, you taught me this, and I'm the person I am now because of it. So it should be. It should be something that we cherish is the time we had with people is because
Absolutely.
we learned these things from us.
We had great memories with that group. I still take a lot of those memories with me. Some people I see them and it's actually nice to see certain people like, hey, it's been a minute. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Some I don't talk to, and that's okay. That's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. The more you say it, the more it's real.
Yeah, for sure.
Stay where you are. But like there's no animosity. Is that the right word?
I
Tell
think
us.
I think that's a sign of maturity. If that's true,
No, it is.
You
It
have
is,
gotten
because,
on
you
in
know,
your
like,
life, and it's behind you.
Because there's people that I can see, and I'll be like, we're not saying hi, and I'm okay with that. Like, cool, you do you, I'm gonna do me, and I got these guys, I got you, and I'm good with that. Like, you know what I mean? And I have a million cousins, so we're good with that too. But no, like I agree with you wholeheartedly on how you say all that. But there's no.
What about you?
I only have 2 friends.
No, I'm
Bitch, there's 3 of us here.
Who is it?
Exactly. No, I'm teasing. I know we have all talked about this too, but I think of my friends. I've kind of, as I've gone through life, I have acquired these groups of people. Again, kind of reason, season, lifetime, but there have been people that have stuck along the way.
Yeah.
People that childhood friends that I'm still friends with,
Same.
even as I approach 40. But, then people that I made friends with in high school, and then people that I made friends with when I moved to Phoenix and got into school, and then as I got into my career. And I had a discussion with another friend once, because he was like, you have friends all over the place. And as I think about it, it's kind of like a weird little orbit. I've got a group of women that I've met through like the retail world and the interior design world who I idolize. I admire
Absolutely.
them because I have always been drawn to really strong women, really powerful women, and I have such admiration for them, and I have learned so much from them and have built such close friendships with them and become part of their family.
Absolutely.
So they are part of my inner circle. And then I've got my friends that I first came to, when I first came to Phoenix, I had this group of guys that I met when I first came out. The gentleman that took me out that first night, I met one of my best friends, and he said to me, he goes, you and I are going to be friends. And we went out every single night of the week, like Manicure Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, everything. And we've been friends ever since, and we've had fallouts, but we'll always be in my inner circle. Like Absolutely. He is that person that I call if I've got good, if I've got bad, he needs help, like we're there for each other. And, and then I got brought into this group of friends several years ago. I mean, we had become like professionally connected and built our friendship. And then he introduced me to, the broader group. And all of a sudden I was like, holy cow, now I have this other group of people that was like, it was instant. And I kind of look at that in contrast to or not even in contrast, but like aligning with like these friends that I've built friendships for 30 something years with. And then I'm like, oh, it was really easy and effortless. And suddenly we're part of it. So I always kind of think of all of these people that I've made friends with over the years. And I don't have categories per se, but I kind of think of friendships in kind of an orchestra row. And it's like you've got this really close circle. Who are the people that I'm going to call when I win? Who are the people that I'm going to call when I'm losing, when I'm worried, when I'm happy, sad, etc. One of you guys is in that group, and I'm kidding.
The battle,
but it's,
we had that casino moment.
It is it's that really tight knit circle. The people that I would have stand by me at a wedding, the people that I would, all of those things, and then you've got kind of that second row who, people that I've made friendships that I, through work and through school, and we've been friends. We talk once or twice a year. We wish each other happy birthday,
right?
All of that, and then you've got kind of the acquaintances. So you've got 1, 2, 3. I don't really fuck with anybody beyond like if we had beef and we had a friendship at one point, we don't anymore for some reason. One of my mechanisms is to just kind of close it off, and it's not being icy, it's not being non-friendly. You're either in or you're out with me, and so that's if you're not in like row 1, 2, 3, then we don't know each other.
And I think it's a read, but you kind of like tend to trim the fat. The excess. And
ironically, as a fat person, I trim the fat with my
really, bitch. You're like a fat boy sandwich right now. You're telling us.
Well, I almost feel like you're kind of damned if you do or damned if you don't in terms of acknowledging someone's presence that you had a falling out with. For me personally, I have been told that my toxic trait is making people I've had fallouts with uncomfortable. So if I see them clear across the room, we've obviously had a fallout, whether it be months ago, years ago. Me coming up to them saying hello and acknowledging their presence has been viewed as a petty move. Like you're reaching out to that person to let them know you're still that bitch. You know what I mean? So for me, it's been mostly of like I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want other people to be uncomfortable. So I'm just gonna go ahead and address the elephant in the room.
Why'd you look at me when you said that? You bitch.
Better you than me, girl.
Got it.
Better you than me, girl.
You bitch. Yeah, I mean, we have all those. We have those people in our lives where, like, I know this Karen that I hate, and that I'd never want to see her again, right? But it is weird when we're all in the same group together. We see each other around, and everybody has beef with somebody.
Yeah. But I'm not uncomfortable about it. If I see you, if I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you.
Well, that's you.
And I'm not. For me, I'm not. I'm not gonna disturb what took me so long to get to, is like a peace with myself and where I'm at. I'm not gonna disturb that by trying to be the bigger person, sweetie. Literally, I am. I'm 6'6", sweetie, and whole
lot
of woman.
I'm a psychological. No, we're not. But like for me, it's like to me, it requires energy, and I'm not at a place right now where I want to just give out my energy. Like I give it to you guys because I fuck with y'all.
Yeah.
But like there's people who I'm sorry, like.
Yeah, I can understand both sides of it.
Both sides, right?
It's just something I feel like I have to do for my own well-being, for my energies to not.
And
be
it's about it's for you. It's not for the other person. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I get that. And I'm not saying that your way is wrong. By no means am I saying that. Please don't think that. But it's more of like, I get where you're coming from, and I respect that. You know what I mean? I totally respect that, and I may talk shit about it when you do. I'm like, here we go. And I told you this, and like, girl, I'll be like, girl, you're being petty.
I just don't know why when I do something, people think it's petty.
Because we know you.
Because you're petty.
Girl, how many times?
You're Patricia, girl.
Have we done the whole like in the cabin trip? We're all let's play petty, and we've literally come out with like the pettiest things we've ever done. Girl, you are leaps and bounds and heaps and countries ahead of us.
Blue ribbon petty.
Petty.
Blue ribbon petty.
Patricia
Petty
Petunia.
LaBelle.
Petty LaBelle.
Petty bacon petty's pies.
Sweetie.
I mean, we can all be petty. We can all admit that we've been petty with somebody, an ex, with somebody that our friendships were over. It's in the moment.
I think that a person who says they've never been petty in their life is lying to themselves and lying to everybody else. Sweetie, like I think petty comes with every stage in life, you learn to be, you don't learn to be, but you're a petty to an extent. You learn not to be with that person or with that situation. Petty is part of it. Like, because it's part of like revenge, and not necessarily like physical revenge. You're going to get back at that person. But for you, it's about, you did this to me, so I'm not going to fuck with you in this way, or I'm not going to say hi to you. So you're being petty. I think in that, everybody does.
And that's giving energy to it, right?
Exactly.
And I thought it was really interesting the way that you guys are characterizing how you kind of see friendships and the levels of friendships, right? I was watching a musical. It's a musical play from Medea, and she kind of goes over how she sees people in people's lives, and she put it as a tree, right? People who are leaves, those leaves are there, they're beautiful, but they fall off. That's just kind of those acquaintances. Like you meet them, and they fall off for the season, right? Then those limbs are people that are in your life. They're a little bit more than leaves. They're more in your life than that. But those leaves break off. The wind comes and those break off, and that's how you grow apart, right? You're not part of the tree anymore. Right. And then when you look at best friends and people who are really close to you, those are the roots. Because those are the people who feed you, right? The roots are feeding the tree. And those people are feeding you, right? The roots feed the tree, not the leaves. I mean, they do, but most of the nourishment is from the roots, right? Right. So those people are the people who are feeding you that love, that friendship, that being their confidants and being that person you always reach out to when you need something, is because you have trust in those people. So that's how we look at friendships. What part of the tree are they for me now? Because you can be a limb and then evolve into a root by your actions, by how you're there for me and I'm there for you, right?
But a root can also become a leaf.
Very quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so. Like very quickly. Yeah. So let me ask you this:
and was it really a root?
Or was it really a root?
Was it really a root?
I
mean, it might not have been a root.
Yeah, I think parts of the tree can move, but it might have been. Like I think when you look back, was it really a root? Was it just a thicker branch?
I think a thickum branch.
Thickums.
I think a lot of people confuse the three, and they're like, "Oh, you're my best friend." Because that's how I felt when I was younger. I was like, "You're my best friend," and we've had those friends that are like, we're in the group and we thought that they were the best friends. This person was at my wedding.
Don't get me started.
I think
we've all had those people who thought, oh my God, this is gonna be like my child's godparents. Right. They're gonna be in my life forever, and it ended up not being that in the end, which is okay. But I always try to not give so much power to it, like anger for that not happening, because I do have a great group of friends, roots, that I can always depend on. And it's great to at least not confuse them.
Absolutely. Right. So let me ask you this. When we talked about this, and so we talked about like how RuPaul said, oh my God, I can't believe I'm quoting this. But RuPaul says that, as gay people, we get to choose our family. To an extent, I think everybody has that, right? But I think as gay people, we're more prevalent to do it because you create like these circles, right? And then you end up finding your roots, if you may. Yeah. So I think like I've always said it to you guys. You guys are my family. Like you guys come over, y'all know my parents, y'all know my family. Lavando ropa or trastes or whatever you call it with my mom. And so so are you believers in that people cross that line and become family to you? I'm a full believer. Like with this circle here, and the other people who are not here, but like our girls and stuff like that, and maybe in other groups you will have that as well. Right. But are you guys people that believe that it is a family?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that with that whole family dynamic and who you choose, I think it's very important for me to keep in mind who those roots are. And I think for me, I'm not so quick to cut them off, because in my mind I decided to make a commitment to you. This is how I view you. You're my root. And yeah, you may have fucked me over, but I want to know why. I want to give this a chance. And if you're equally as invested with me to work on these things, so am I. So I'm not that quick to cut my roots off. I see it like as an investment, really. Like, you know, like I don't just let it go. I've worked so hard to get it to that point, and so have they. So, you know, a lot of these things could be miscommunications, or they could be, you know,
Which a lot of the time ends up being miscommunication.
which a lot of times end up being miscommunication. So, you know, I just want to make it clear that for those roots, maybe because you made a very conscious decision to make them your roots, like maybe don't be so quick to cut them off.
And then there's a thing of maybe to me you're a root, but to them I'm just a leaf,
Right.
or
I think when you get to root stage, it's the same.
it has to be.
It's got to be
mutual,
the
right?
same because you're committed to that investment.
And a friendship is a relationship. There's work to it. There's a lot of work to keeping a friendship, and it's two ways.
And I feel like sometimes like a friendship can be a little bit of a tougher relationship.
Well, sometimes it lasts longer than relationships that are like intimate.
Last longer than several
Than
relationships.
boyfriends.
For real.
And a few relationships.
Right.
For sure.
So
Absolutely.
it's that feeling of like when you start dating somebody new, there's that thing where you're like fighting for attention of that person, right?
Right.
And you're kind of in the middle. You're like, well, I just met you and I like you a lot, but I've known these people for 10 plus years.
Yeah,
This
there's
is
history.
this is a historic relationship. You are new in my life, and we do have those people who are like, I got a boyfriend, bye, and we never see them again. But when do we see them?
When they break up.
When they break up, and they're like, oh, I'm crying. Oh, he broke up with me. Oh, please comfort me. And as friends, you're like,
New phone, who it is?
damn, I mean, I love you and I want to support you, but where was I when you were in this relationship?
I think I don't know if you would call it a toxic trait, but I would probably still embrace that person, to be quite honest.
Of course, and that's more about you than the other person. I see.
But I coming from the flip side, I'm not that person who ran away, but I'm that person who, me and you've had this conversation where it's hard for me to speak on it. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to talk about it. You know, me and you have, and I think I've actually had this with all of you, where when I was going through it, it's hard for me to talk about it. I have to put this front of
Let's wall up.
this wall of I'm good. And so even though you know damn well a bitch is going through it, you know, it's hard because like that's just, you're not built that way. So when you come across somebody who you feel is a root and they're not communicating with you, you have to take a step back. What's going on here? Is it a me thing? Is it a them thing? Is this how they're built? Because like I think like when I'm going through it, like the last thing I want is, or the last thing on my mind is thinking that you're feeling bad because I'm not talking to you about it. I think that's just my toxic trait, is that I hold it all in and I try to find a way to deal with it myself. So that's why I think you're right, and I agree with that. Like with what you guys are saying of like sometimes you have to really reconsider, is that person really being a leaf right now, or is it just going through something?
Yeah, because
Does that make
we've
sense?
gone through literally the same exact situation with one of our old friends, where it felt like we were just another group in his little arsenal, right? And we felt that there was no allegiance,
Right.
And I think it's okay to cut people off that just don't align with what you're going through, with your friendship, with your goals, right? And speaking of toxic traits, like what's another toxic trait that you are guilty of or you see in others?
I think a toxic trait that I've been guilty of is feeling some type of way when my best friend is hanging out with other people, which is definitely very toxic. But then quickly snapping out of it.
Wait a minute. That's all of us like.
Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Come on, can we share that fucking coffee?
Let me clarify. You know, you snap out of it really quickly because you realize, wow, I'm a whole adult with a whole ass career. You know what I mean? Like,
Being jailed
I'm over here
Whole ass bills.
whole ass bill, and I'm worried about what my best friend's doing, having dinner
And with
with
who?
so and so.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's those types of things. But you catch yourself, and you're human, and you go through those things, and then you just snap right out of it. So I would have to
Sometimes it takes a little longer to snap out of it.
I don't know if I snap out of it or if I show up at that dinner. You'll catch me behind the menu.
Story. We've never done that. We've never crashed a date of our friends. What?
Oh no, not at all.
I've never
Never.
been at Hanny's ordering pizza like 2 rows over.
Yeah, exactly. But
I've never have.
but I could probably tell you what each one of your toxic traits.
Oh, no, we're not about that.
Actually, no,
we're
I'm interested. And I was literally thinking about this when you asked that. I'm like, we think it's something, but I think people see other things that we do as toxic. So I'm actually curious what this one has to say. Because I've got a list.
We're trying to fight.
I'm just kidding.
Bring the
What? Tell
tea.
me.
Bring the tea.
Well, I mean, if we want to get
The
into that,
library
I think
is open. So.
yeah, and I'm not just keeping this
Ante.
exclusive to us. I think a lot of people can identify with these toxic traits because I think they're actually pretty common. So
Of course.
I think for
Gay
you,
or straight
for you,
friendships.
Memo, your toxic trait is if you feel some way about one of your friends, you're not so quick to address it. You're a little bit quicker to ice them out. You know what I mean? You're a
There's
little
truth
bit
to
quicker to
that.
be like, like, hey, like, and then you're not sharing things with them. You're not checking in with them. And I think because we know this about you, we kind of fill in that gap and say, hey, bitch, we got to talk. And we force it out of you. At least I have.
Because like for me, I shut down.
Right.
I shut down and I don't talk about it because like I don't know what it is. If it's a fear of saying
I
the
think
wrong
it's your
thing.
Latina pettiness.
It's
Because you're like, let me show them I'm upset
I think there's truth
and
to that.
let them come to me.
Well, you don't want that conflict.
Right.
I'm very
You're not
confrontational.
yeah.
I'm not a conversational person.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my moments where I will be up in a bitch's face, if, you know what I mean? But that's
It's me.
not-
I'm bitch.
That's the face.
Well, we're together anyway, no. Face. No, I mean, like, there's truth to that.
There
There's
is
a lot
truth.
of
As-
truth.
I think
as
with
a
all of
friend-
us.
As a friends group, what did we decide? Because communication is key
Absolutely.
in friendships. We said,
If
hey, we
you're
noticed this
bothered,
about each
tell
other.
me.
If you're bothered, tell me.
Yeah.
Text me, pull me to the side, let me know. And I think we all agreed that we'd come from a place of understanding
Yeah.
rather than ridiculing. Are you fucking kidding me?
Feedback is a gift, girls.
Feedback is a gift, as we say.
But we don't do it as feedback.
As we say in
we
corporate
just shit talk.
America.
But it's very. I think I'm guilty of it. I think everybody here is guilty of it. Where you want to be upset and you want to be like, I need you to know that I'm upset, which is fine. I think everybody does it. I got it from my mom. My mom's upset when she doesn't talk to me, or she doesn't talk to
Yeah.
somebody. Right?
metal good.
That's where I learned it from. Is ice people out
Yeah.
until they notice, and then you're like, I'm fine. Right?
We get the very passive aggressive text.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy your dinner, guys.
Yeah.
Stay blessed.
I feel attacked.
Personally attacked.
You know what I mean? We get those, and then we don't hear from you for like a month.
Right.
But who's counting, right?
Who's counting? Yeah. What?
What's Danny's?
Yeah. What's mine?
Oh, we're still on that.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, you wanted to do this.
No, and I guess this is also to I think a lot of people can empathize with this too. I think that Danny's, I don't know if I want to call it a toxic trait, would probably be talking about the situation with other members of the group.
No.
Chismosa. You call me
before-
chismosa.
Before she
No.
like a little cheese man, like for sure.
Well, like you
Networking.
don't.
Yeah, I mean, anywho, this isn't about me.
Hey, how do our conversations start?
Girl. That's literally.
He could call me on a conference call and go, bitch, and I'm like,
What is it?
I mean, I'm just at work right now, got 20 people on hold, but I could chat.
No, like when we used to work together, even though I was literally right outside of his office, right? Like we're right next to each other, and I would send him an instant message, and obviously I'm not gonna use the word bitch on company property. I would just send him a quick, I am bitch. He's like, get here now. The door's unlocked. Like seriously.
No, but going back to that point is like, I don't think it comes from a place of chismoso. I think it comes from a place of like, you're trying to vent, you're trying to get your thoughts together before you come to the person. Like,
Yeah.
am I the one overreacting?
Yeah.
So that's how I think of it. But then in that moment, I start thinking like, wow, you're really going to talk to all of them about this before you talk to me about it. But I see the method. I see what you're trying to do. I think you're trying to check yourself
Yeah.
to make sure that your feelings are validated
Yeah.
before you come to me with
Because I never want to come to you and be wrong.
Right.
Let me That's it.
That's your.
Let me prep my speech.
I didn't know this was about me.
You made it about you. No, I definitely understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
the only reason that I talk to the others is because they know me, they know them, the other person that I'm referring to, they know how we are.
And they know you.
And they know you.
So it is a good.
So I just need
chat.
feedback from everybody to be like, am I wrong or are they wrong? Is this a fair point? Can I have a conversation with this person? Because it's always just this conversation with us. Yay!
It's a party.
It's party. But my intentions are not to be chismoso. I want to talk about it. You know, I'm a talker. I love to talk about things and feelings and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that I'm not doing anything wrong, because if I do need to apologize, at least I know why. I have another perspective.
You will take ownership of that.
Whenever I've done something wrong or I've insulted you, I've always apologized, because you made a good point. There's nothing I can say to that, right? So I definitely want to be prepared for what's about to happen. Like, I don't want a conversation where it's off the rails, right?
Yeah. Right.
What's this, bitches?
Oh, I didn't ask.
What are you about to get?
Go ahead. I think, this goes again to show you the such diversity within friend groups, like, so you have
Nice save.
You have Memo's toxic trait, you have yours, and then I think for Tyler, it's been mostly like, at times, I don't think this is all the times, it's, it can seem very dismissive sometimes.
Yep.
But I think that's just how you operate. And the fact that I know this about you, that doesn't bother me. That's like, we're going to chat tomorrow. We'll be good. Like, we'll see each other at this point. But like, I know when you're upset because it's very visible. But I think the same could be said about me.
Everybody.
Like, it's like, oh, he's clearly upset. You could bring the energy down in the entire
But the
room.
wonderful thing about that is that because we're so close, we know that.
Right, exactly.
We know that, and we look at each other and we're like, he's feeling some kind of way. And we can understand. Like Memo, whenever you get quiet, we know Memo's quiet, he must be upset. So
Memo's walking off,
Memo's walking off in front of us in Paris, and that's a sign.
She's all dramatic with her hoodie on, her headphones in. And
Walking away.
No, but I think that's the difference, because these are the types of behaviors I accept from my roots.
Yeah,
These are the
absolutely.
types of behaviors
Yeah.
I accept from you.
Yeah.
Let another person who
Let another
maybe
let
an
a leaf
acquaintance-
do that to you, bitch.
Let a leaf do that to me, and I'm just like,
Go on.
bye,
Bah.
next.
Yeah.
Like at that point, I think I would get upset. But from this group, it's just more of like,
She's having a moment.
Yeah.
we'll just get past it.
There's a feeling
We'll
of
talk
like,
tomorrow.
you've earned my trust, you've
Right.
earned my love and my friendship. So you're family, and sometimes you take things from family that you wouldn't take from like an acquaintance
Exactly.
or someone else,
Absolutely.
because you've earned your place at my side.
Yeah.
So, and to go off his point with you, I think the distance is just a mechanism, and you've told us before, this is my mechanism. Like,
Yeah.
Totally.
I take this very seriously. Friendships are something that are family, right? So, because I've said to you that I feel like I haven't been close to Tyler, and that was probably by design, because you weren't ready. And I think it was my bad to be like, why aren't we talking about our childhood? And I'm like, that's dramatic, right?
Yeah.
So
Opening up that can of
bad
worms.
years, right? But I've learned that it takes time with you. It takes action. It takes those times where we
You gotta
talk
peel
and cry.
back those layers.
Yeah.
Tyler's
Tyler's an
very,
onion.
like-
She's a whole
Shrek-
onion.
She's a
whole
she has a
onion.
Shrek moment.
you got to peel back those layers one at a time. And I think with Tyler, it's like you're very. I don't want to say you're very guarded, because I don't think you're a guarded, but you're an open book. But you're an open book to certain people.
With-
Well, you're in or you're out with me.
Which is
That's
funny because-
always
That's what I'm
been
saying,
my
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
You're only certain people who are allowed in, and when you're in, you're in. Like there's no like.
I'm ride or die, and it's
Absolutely.
always it has always been that way. And
It's
I
an
think
exclusive club.
it's not. There's been plenty of people on this ride. What I'm saying
According
is,
to the graffiti in the bathroom.
You're right.
but I do think it is that thing, where I want to identify. That might be my toxic trait. I can let people in. I think in my 20s, or in high school or in my 20s, my toxic trait was like, I want everybody to be my friend. Like everybody was in. And I think as I've gotten older, and I find myself saying that a lot more, but it is because I'm reflecting back on my life, I have found that it is a blessing more than it is like a negative trait or a toxic trait. Like if you're in, I will fucking go to the mat for you every time. If you're on my team, if you're in my sports team, if you're in my friend circle, like you're my people and I want my people. And I think that comes from the fact that I lost my best friend when I first moved to Phoenix. And, that was a time where I thought, I don't want to be here anymore. Like I didn't know how to reconcile all of that. And I think it was the first time in my life in my adult life where I really did shut off. Like, I don't want to go through that. Like, I'm not going to let anybody in anymore because I can't afford that loss. You know, whether it's a friend deciding to depart or it's my, you know, or something
action.
beyond my control. You know, this one was beyond my control. But it was that was a tough one. And then as I went through and, you know, started therapy and, you know, kind of my own spiritual journey, it really was about taking this trait from Nick and to sustain or to go, because from there I began to lose very key people in my life. You know, my stepbrother, my stepdad, who I was very, you know, close to my stepdad. He raised me, and, you know, to, you know, a grandmother and an uncle and friends here in Phoenix. Like, you know, all of these things started happening, and I was just like, fuck. Like, even my therapist was like, this is an odd amount of people, like a loss to have in your life. But as I went through that journey, I looked back and I was like, I want to take those people were part of my root system. And so I wanted to take that quality, like a quality of theirs, and pay it forward into the world as part of their legacy. And the one that Nick had, hands down, unconditional love. And in my 23 years, you know, before he had passed, Nick was the very first person in my life that gave me unconditional love. Truly, like beyond, and I love my family. I have no, you know, but from a true, like, root connection, it was Nick. And so I said to myself, going forward, if you're getting unconditional love from me. So if you're in, that's where it comes from. If you're in, you're in. But if you're not, I don't have time to mess with you. Like, because I have people in my circle that I'll give you all everything I got. And I think I'm finding that's, you know, that can create challenges in a relationship, you know, with a partner, because they can't, maybe they can't reconcile how much of myself I give out to my friend work, but you have to understand, the way that I describe it is you have to understand, this is my world. Like, this is my fucking world, and I can't.
I mean, that's what chosen family is, right?
And like I've said, it's like they were here before you, and they're probably going to be here after you. So like, you don't compare where you don't compete. Oh my God, did I just quote Joanne the Scammer? But there's so much truth to that. Like, how are you going to compare yourself to these friends, these relationships,
and ask them to be like, oh, give me all your time.
That I spent so many years
developing,
investing and developing. And how are you going to try to sit there and tell me you're spending too much time with your friends? Look, sweetie, one of the things that I've learned is you're not going to come into my life to change it. You're coming into my life to play a part.
Or enhance it.
And that's it. You're coming into my life to enhance it, to add to it. You're not going to come in here to try to take something away from me. You're not coming in here to change it. You're just coming in here to add to it. And if you can't follow that, if you can't get on that train, I'm sorry, honey, keep it moving. You better go kick rocks or something, because this ain't the place for you.
Right.
Stay tuned for the next episode, relationships.
And I mean, also the toxic traits of some people are like, you need to choose me.
Yeah.
You need to choose me, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's always us. Yeah, but they're gonna get lives. They're gonna get married. They're gonna have their own lives that maybe you're not gonna fit completely the same way as when you guys were best friends. You guys were together. I also see toxicity when friends don't support other friends in success. When you see somebody succeeding or growing away from you and you hate it and you want to talk shit and you want to minimize their success. I hate that, and I love that this group is always celebrating milestones within our lives. Someone's getting married, somebody's getting promoted, somebody's doing great things. We always support each other, and I think a lot of people have those friends that are toxic in that way.
I want to be there in the first row, like applauding you or whatever it is. And I think that's, like, I agree with you. That's one of the most amazing things that we have about this friendship. We're petty between us, and we talk so much shit between us.
But only I can talk shit.
Right. That one over there talks some shit. But I think that with us, like, we celebrate every victory. We wipe tears at every, you know what I mean, at every hardship. So
we all cried up in here.
So, that wasn't obvious. But we, fuck, where was I?
I don't know, girl.
Just
No,
rambles.
we were talking.
Rambles
You
McGillicuddy.
were talking a little bit more in terms of like you appreciate the fact that we celebrate our
Yeah,
wins
yeah,
and that
yeah.
we're always on the front row to celebrate each other.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things like that I love about this group is that we've done that so many times. Like we've new jobs. Hey, all right, cool. We can go have a drink. You start a new job, or new place. Cool. We're gonna go out. We want to celebrate the new place for you. We want to make a mess. Like we're
No
we're very
cleanup.
that, and it's one of the things that. Like, I remember when this kind of started developing into what it is, a lot of people said that we were very cliquey. And no, it's
Who said that? Who said that? Who says that?
Sweetie, from 40 to 4. Like, for me, For me, it's. They said that we were very cliquey, and it's not about that. I think we grew into this. We found support in one another.
Yeah.
We found positive, like you said. There's people who are there for the good ones, and then you see who's really there for the bad ones.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
Put in the work.
Yeah, you put in the work.
A lot of people are not willing to put in the
Absolutely.
work.
Absolutely, and it's that we found in each other that we decided like this is a person that, like you said, can come into that inner circle, and that I can be me, who is a fool, and you're okay with that. It's that unconditional love. Like, yeah, we talk shit, but at the end of the day, at the base of it all, there's love.
There's love.
Yeah.
Misguided, but there's love.
And I also see like friend groups, and I think I've been a part of these dynamics too, is where you subconsciously compete with your best friend.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I've had
Yeah.
best friends in the
Yeah.
past where I thought they were competing with me, and it was like subconsciously I did it back, and it almost like we threw jabs at each other that we knew were gonna hurt us. And it just came back and forth. And to me, it's like, well, that's my best friend. And I kept
Yeah.
making excuses for that type of behavior. And not to say that they were wrong and I was wrong. I think we were both wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe we just didn't align. And I think what I took from that was, we're all on different journeys. What I'm doing shouldn't matter to this person or that person,
Right.
but at least support me and I'll do the same. Like, if I'm going, towards this big new role in corporate America and you're starting your own little pancake business, like,
pancakes.
one's not more important than the other
Yeah.
because one's getting a big salary right off the bat, and then the other one's having its
Building
its
a
struggle.
business,
It's
right?
building,
Yeah.
it's struggle. So I like where my mentality has evolved into that versus just constantly competing with a friend.
Yeah. I think that's very toxic. Again, when you don't support, I mean, this is your friend. This person speaks for you, in the sense that they were worthy of being your friend, being in that circle, and you should be proud of that person. We need to have girl power, right? Support each other because you represent me and I represent you. So why
Absolutely.
would you want to tear down somebody else that represents you in that way, in that friendship, right?
Absolutely.
So I definitely think a lot of people need to kind of step back and look at their friends and be like, am I getting what I need? Am I getting nourishment? Am I getting love? Am I getting non-judgmental advice? Is this person really batting for me?
Right.
And be like, you know what? I'm going to step back from this friendship because it's not healthy for me. And it's okay to do that.
Or I'm going to lean into it and challenge myself
Yeah.
so that I can learn more about people and broaden my, kind of broaden my horizons and understand different personality types and grow as a person because I'm exposing myself to some other personalities that are going to help me be better.
Yeah,
For
a
sure.
lot of people don't take that too well, right? You can either take from it and learn from it, or kind of cut it out, cut it off, right? So I definitely love talking about this subject because
I think we can go on. And
we
on
can go on
and
and on about this subject, but I do want to go into the next segment, which is bitch fit. This is
What's
the
that?
time. This is where you can have a bitch fit. 30 seconds. Tell
And
us
just be mad.
what's pissing you off right
We
now.
had one in the car for me.
Was it about you being late?
Oh no, honey.
Oh, because I had that in
Well,
my
mine
car
is that
with just me.
Eduardo was late and he lives 2 blocks down the street.
That could be one of y'all's bitch fits about me.
That's your toxicity
what
right
was,
now.
What was mine? We were talking about in the car, and I was like, "What was it?"
I don't know.
I'm like, "Remind me."
well,
Good work.
that didn't really work, did
What
it?
kind of an assistant are you?
I know. How about you? What's your bitch fit of the
I
day?
fucking hate kitten heels. Oh, they are the devil of fashion. I don't understand them. I see them and I don't get it. I don't know who they're designed for. You know, it's one of those things that I may never understand, but there's so much shoe there and then just this little nub. And it seems so, right? Like what? Why? Why is it a
It's
thing?
for the older lady. Or
No. You're either lifted or you're not. Stand it on a stem or get the fuck on a flat. Like, just go about your day. That's it. I'm done.
Eduardo, what's your bitch fit about?
Minimalism.
You hate it? You love it?
Hate it.
Why?
Why?
Because you're extra?
Yes.
Yes.
Like guac at Chipotle.
She needs bells, whistles, all of it.
All of it.
She's got the chrome, the gold, the
gold.
aqua,
The extra,
the
extra,
fur.
she's all about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Memo, did you think of your bitch fit?
It was a good one. We had it in the
It wasn't
car.
good enough, was it?
So good.
Shut up. Do you remember? You don't remember?
No.
Jovan, do you remember?
No.
I was so
Well-
because I was hated.
You were heated. You were mad.
I was mad.
I guess
Yeah.
you're over it now.
Yeah.
What was I mad about?
No, bitch. You're always mad, bitch.
Why are you so mad?
Why are you so mad?
tired.
She's tired.
All her life she's had to
She had
fight.
to fight.
All my life, and I stayed fighting with these bitches.
She's still fighting.
She had to fight those heels she was wearing.
But they weren't getting healed.
I did hear him clicking when we were walking in.
I heard them bend.
Sweetie, these are flats. Bitch.
I might have heard him cry.
Oh.
That was your belt, sweetie.
Oh,
Oh.
that's another toxic
Back
trait.
to toxic traits.
Back to the bitch fest.
Well, what do you think people can do to kind of decipher what kind of friends they have, and what should they do if they feel like somebody's being toxic?
Cut it.
So for you, it's
Sweetie, I'm almost 30. I don't have the time to
you're
sit
almost
here.
40.
Is there a horn or something we can do when he lies?
That's a lie. You're lying.
Almost 30. Fuck out of here.
So your patience is like minimal.
You know what? I've just come to a point in my life where I don't have time to be spending on insignificant shit. Either you're in
You're
or
mad,
out.
girl. Why are you sweating?
Right? I guess this is my bitch fit. You're either on board or you're off the fucking ship. Like I don't have time for complacency. I don't have
You're
time
the epitome of
for you to
I ain't got
make up
shit
your
for
fucking
this.
mind.
I ain't got time
don't-
for this.
I
Anybody
know
got
who
time for
fucks
that?
with me, and I know who I fuck with, and that's all. That's all I need. Like I'm not at a place where I'm like, oh well, no, sweetie, it's cut, it's out. You can move on to the next. Keep it moving. Let's go.
Eduardo, what do you think they should do?
I think people should lean into how people make them feel. So for me, a lot of it is about feelings, you know. So if there's people in your life that make you feel a certain way, might be time to reevaluate those relationships. If there's people that make you feel great, might be time to lean into them a little bit more, and just kind of give yourself that nourishment. So there's people even in my acquaintance circle that I get excited about seeing, like, wow, I'm going to see this person. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so hilarious. Like,
Who?
those are people.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about people.
Who are you talking to?
acquaintances.
Yeah.
You and the other friend.
Who is this person?
All right, easy. So,
I got a bridge
you know,
to
for
burn.
me, it's like lean
Kind of
into
toxic
those,
blend.
lean into those feelings and try to, you know, be conscious about maybe reaching out to them more, because
Okay.
some of these people include people I haven't talked to.
So
in
reflect
years.
on your actions to
Yeah.
kind of distinguish if that's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Tyler,
Can you please repeat the question?
why are you here?
To get a free dinner.
Who's
talk about
that free?
Oh.
What should people do if they feel that they have toxic friends?
I'm an advocate for communication, and I think it's, you know, talk through it. And if there, you may be at a point where you can't talk through it, or you know it's just not good for
Or
you,
they're not
and it's
willing
kind
to
of pulling, it's kind of
acknowledge.
pulling that Band-Aid off and moving on. You know, your version of that. You know, cutting and moving. And I'm not saying it as a
but
read,
keep in mind, I'm not saying, you're toxic, I'm gonna cut you off. Like to
You
me,
literally
like,
just said that.
Well, no, I know, but that's not what I meant. Like, I don't mean like, like you don't agree with me. We're
done,
cut off.
right.
We're not. I mean, like, if I get to a point where I'm second guessing where we're at, then then that's where this is where I begin to pull away, and this is where I begin to end it. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And
saying,
it's not a bad thing. It's like,
Yeah.
it is a cut and run. I think there are people, I've faced people in my life, in friendships, where I was just like, this is no longer good for me.
Right.
I am no longer good for you. I've been a toxic friend.
Right.
I have
Same.
been a toxic
Same,
friend
all
where
of us.
I was the one taking. I took and took and took from a friend, you know, from friends. You know, I was battling, you know, with things in
demons.
life. Yeah, demons in
Yeah.
life. And it was just, that's where I was. And I expect, you know, I could see where I was cut off. So I get it. You got to cut and run. But I think there's also, take the opportunity when you think there's potential for roots, potentials for even just heavy, sturdy branches, to lean into those and to better understand, give yourself the gift of a little bit of time and understand where they're coming from and maybe what you could learn from them or from that experience and use it to grow and to be a stronger person, because life is a journey and there's so much out there, that goes beyond just your friendships, but you realize how you interact with people in your friendships is how you interact with people out in the world and how you interact with your families. And, I think the more opportunity you take to engage people and understand who they are and where they are, especially in the world right now where there's so much hate and so much division, you can really use that opportunity to feel better, to put good into the world. And I think we need more of that right now.
Yeah. What I think is that you should start your podcast and have your friends on to talk shit about you and call out the toxicity.
Same.
But damn, like
I'm ready to be there.
As I hear you guys talk about like, hey, lean in, find out. I'm like, fuck, who hurt you? To myself. I'm like, holy shit! Like,
We're all being positive. You're like, fuck those people. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on here and kind of giving your take on friendship.
Yeah.
It was really fun. We'll definitely have you guys back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you everybody for coming into or letting us come into your
Finish
wavelengths.
that This is not
Your space.
Your space, your radio.
Space. Is this like ASMR?
Space. Okay.
Homosexuals. Oh, I am a homo-ner.
Oh yes, you're a homo.
Congratulations.
Congratulations! She just bought her new house in this crazy market.
and all Waituki. I mean, all Watuki.
Oh, Waituki. Well, we're gonna be there the whole summer. We're gonna
No, you're
party-
not.
Yeah, you have said.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
pool.
You already shared the address with me, sweetie.
I did.
We're gonna post it. We're gonna post
I already
it.
drove by.
It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
That's good.
So thanks again. Come back and listen to us for our next episode.
Yeah.
Where we'll have maybe a guest, a new topic, new hot topic, and a new bitch fit. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Come back.
Don't forget to follow us on socials. You can find us at The Betch Podcast on Instagram or The Betch Pod on Facebook as well. We do have a TikTok coming soon as well as a Snapchat that we're actually currently under
Construction.
under construction. But follow us also on our personals for DangAZ86 on Instagram and Insta_memomem. Follow us. I mean, we appreciate those of you who have already reached out and who have already been supported. So thank you so much. There's more stuff to come, and see you next week.
See you next time. Bye.
I have a dance I can put on your TikTok. I've been practicing at home.
The coffee table?
Yeah.
Let's do it.